What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even leave a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Jim Green here, along with my co-host, my best friend, Anthony Irvin. Brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's officially my son's birthday as of the day that this uploads. So we're obviously recording this on a Monday night, but this is going to be out on a Friday. It is August 2nd. So today is officially my son's fourth birthday. So happy birthday to my son, Anthony Frank. We're going to be celebrating his birthday this weekend with a whole big monster truck fest. So that's going to be pretty fun. He is just totally obsessed with monster trucks. We took him to Monster Jam this year and he had a blast. And we're taking him to another event later in the month. It's like it's more Hot Wheels monster trucks with this one rather than the whole Monster Jam theme. And it's like a whole glow in the dark event. So like all the lights are down and everything's like lit up like glow in the dark. It looks like it's gonna be pretty sick. And then they have a whole bunch of other different monster trucks that are not really associated with Monster Jam. So, and he knows those guys too. So literally like our house is infested with monster trucks, ramps, everything. So I think, and then the thing that he doesn't know that we haven't told him yet, we told him that we're going to the event, but we didn't tell him that he's going to be meeting and seeing all the monster trucks prior to the show. That's going to be awesome. He's going to flip.
That is awesome. And
Yeah.
Happy birthday, little Anthony, Lil Tone, as I've always loved calling him. Lil Tone.
It's crazy how it's been 4 years already.
I feel like it's only been 1 year since we had his first birthday at Tekka. Like I feel like that was just a year ago.
Right. It's crazy how fast it's been going. Just seeing him growing up, and even the way that he's interacting with Grayson now, and how like their bond is just starting to really take off as well, because Grayson being 6 into closer to 7 months now, this month, I'd say in the last month and a half, they've really starting to really take to each other and really grow their friendship. So it's just cool to see that too. And
that brotherhood, man.
Yeah, because it's until maybe a year or two later than when they're fighting with each other and be like, Dad, he did this, Dad, he did that. I'm like, yeah, whatever I said about 2 years ago, fuck that. Like,
yeah, I know we've talked on here about like their dynamic and how like they're gelling and getting along and living together and
right.
coexisting together, because guess what? They don't have a freaking choice, right?
Absolutely not. And growing up with a brother, I know like the certain dynamics of like how the relationship will, not that it's going to go the same, but like you have your sibling type of rivalries. Like, okay, I have your times where you're going to be fighting, then you're going to have your times where you're like, oh, let's hang out, let's play with each other, blah blah. And I'm just looking forward to it. It's like the next like chapter of how everything's going to be going with them. And Anthony's just been gaining so much more of his personality over this last year, and really testing the limits with his personality. But then again, 3-year-old isms of what he's just going through. So that not that it's been difficult as a 3-year-old, but they say like the 3s are a lot more harder than the 2s. I would definitely say his third year was a lot more harder, trying to like get him to do certain things, because I think that like the personality of him really starts coming out, so he's starting to challenge you a lot more. And he's in the he's like now in the phase of like oh, what does this mean? Oh, what does that mean? Oh, what's this? What's that? Like the question, like observer type of person. So now that he can actually like really explain to you and talk to you about certain things, he just wants to know everything, and like anything that's like within his peripheral, he wants to know what's going on. So it's to the point where you have to watch what you say and watch what you do, because he's right behind you when you don't even know, and you can just be, slipping up on something and be like, what's that? Like, oh wait, yeah, shouldn't have probably said that. But but we've been good with trying to like, keep language. A lot of parents kind of really are really loose with a lot of stuff. We're not to the point where, I mean, he's gonna find out a lot about that stuff anyway, because kids these days have the internet, they have their iPads and everything. They're gonna find out about all that stuff eventually. But if we can, you know mask it enough to the point where at least he knows it doesn't come from us. But if it comes from something else, we can talk to him eventually about it. But
every tag team parent dynamic, as far as like how open they are with their language and what they say in front of their kids, it's definitely like something you and Jen probably discussed ahead of time, and even have been navigating it along the way, right?
yeah, it's kind of just like, like how you said, just kind of taking it day by day and just be like, okay, this is some, we should probably, you know, nick in the butt before it even gets even worse. And then like, okay, if it's like certain things that he picks up from just watching his TV shows, like, oh, okay, it's just something he picked up from a TV show, it's fine. Or if he's saying something like, okay, like, you don't want to be saying that in school or anything. But if it's like I was telling you, like he's starting to watch wrestling with me a little bit, but I'll keep telling him like, hey, you don't do this with your friends though. Like once I hear you like wrestling and doing anything like that with your friends, then you're cut off. You're not going to be watching it.
Yeah.
So like I don't mind you watching it, and there's times where I have to kind of be a little bit more tense of like what segments he watches, just because like certainly now the edginess has came back a little bit, so you have to kind of be a little bit more fan of what he watches. But he'll only really watch a little bit of the show. He really likes the actual matches. He doesn't like watching the promos or anything, but which is typical.
Well, a 3-year-old boy, well, now 4, once this drops, they're into the action. Like he's into the monster trucks. Like he wants to see all the excitement, right?
Oh yeah, and he gets into it too. Like when he was watching the Carmella Hayes and Andrade match last week on SmackDown, and that was the first time he was actually like really getting into it. And he's like when they were just doing like the hurricanranas, jumping off the ropes, he's like, whoa, look at that, Dad! Look, whoa. And I'm like, that's cool. That's just the fact that he's like getting into it and actually like taking like some type of interest in watching it.
So him being 4 years old now, it'll be interesting to see once he starts investing into why the characters are important and the storylines kind of thing. So, and you'll definitely pick up on that once he starts like talking to you about, oh, well, this is going on with, these people over here. Like the stuff outside of the ring that WWE is, that they pride themselves in trying to make the stories important, right?
Yeah, because he's always telling me like, oh, what's the name of that wrestler? What's the name of this wrestler? Oh, who's that? Who's this? So like I'm always like, he's a big Cody person because he continues to watch Cody and he'll like whatever he's saying. So typical. And so like, he likes to watch Cody, and he's seen Jey Uso, obviously Andrade, all those guys. But I think he's just enjoying the fact that like there's some type of action going on. So if there's like certain matches, he'll just want to watch the match, and he'll just love the fact that like something like is interacting and going on, and he just gets into it. It's so fun.
And that's the best part about the pay-per-views, premium live events, is they don't do the story building stuff with the promos that much on those, where it's like You can put that on, and Triple H is running strictly wrestling matches on. And when we think about WrestleMania, it's really just a card of matches, and
Right.
there's really not a lot of extra stuff in between
No.
because they're trying to get everybody on the card, obviously, so they got to kind
At
of.
least not anymore. They used to have a little bit of time for little backstage segments and stuff like that, but now I feel like it's just strictly like match. You'll get maybe a little small like backstage segment or something, just like other than like the Hall of Fame stuff, but like it's good that it's become like, okay, match 1, match 2, match 3, a little bit of a break, match 4. So it's just like constant boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and I think once he's a little bit older, like in the next couple years,
Right.
he'll probably start keeping up with like um the progression of wrestlers, where they were at this time versus where they are now. Someone starting here and getting to here kind of thing. So
yeah,
I'm excited for that. I am excited that he's into it at all. Obviously, it has definitely been a foundation to our friendship, right? Like, definitely that one big,
exactly. I told him that SummerSlam is, this Saturday, like pretty much after his party, we're going to be watching it. And I said, hey, if you want, after we celebrate your party, we'll do this, we'll do that, and you can stay up with me and we'll watch SummerSlam. He's like, the whole time? I'm like, yeah, we'll watch the whole time. And we'll see if he lasts the whole time or if he'll be interested the whole time, because every once in a while he'll want to watch his iPad and everything. So I'll just let him, I'll watch and I'll let him watch his iPad. But then if there's like certain moments like, dude, Ant, watch this. And then he'll like look up from his iPad, then he'll watch it for a little bit. But if he was this interested prior to WrestleMania, I definitely would have bought him the what is it? The Wrestling World tickets.
Oh, you would have like brought him so he.
I definitely would have brought him. We were thinking about it the first time. At first, we were thinking about bringing him, but we asked him and he didn't want to go. So I'm like, all right, he's really not even interested at that point. So I'm like, I'm not going to waste the money and he just wants to be there for 10 minutes, then wants to go home. So I'm not going to waste the money. But if he was acting the way he was acting now, I would have definitely just bought him the ticket and be like, hey, you want to go see WrestleMania? He would have been like, yeah, let's go. Like, they're doing the New York thing on August 16th and 17th up in New York, meeting the wrestlers. If that was in Philly, I would definitely buy him tickets. And just go to that. That I think he would have at least liked that.
For sure. Shall we talk about the SummerSlam card then?
Yeah. Did you want to talk about what you saw this week, or did you want to relay that in another episode a little bit, or
I
want to speak on it a little bit?
I know we were trying to keep this one a little bit shorter because the next episode or two are going to be at length with the stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have the reaction to SummerSlam, and we have our Season 2 House of the Dragon full recap. So excited for that. And I know our Season 1 recap, which was 2 years ago now. Was a big hit. So you and I had discussed like we're definitely going to follow up with that for Season 2. We did our mid-season recap of 4 weeks ago.
And just coming off like the recent episode, the episode before the last, it looks like it's going to be a good season finale. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's words. I want to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing or spoiling anything.
Right.
If they really wanted to rush the show, they could wrap it up in the 3rd season. But apparently there's 4.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Like they were at least trying to go 3 or 4, but it seems like they can probably definitely push this out to 4 if they really wanted to.
Yeah, and there are things that I feel like they're implementing into this season to just prolong it, because apparently in the books everything happens a lot quicker. So they're definitely dragging it out. Not to get into House of the Dragon too much, but
right, yeah.
We are really, really excited about the season 2 recap. Obviously, the finale is not out yet. I had watched it, season episode 7, and finished right before you got a chance to sit down and start.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'll rewatch it with you. And then I made it 20 minutes in, I just crashed.
That's how it was with episode 6. I must have just been, exhausted because I was going in and out of sleep through it, and I just tried to push through it. But I'm like, the next morning, I'm like, I just got to rewatch this because I had no clue half of what was going on. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew certain parts, but I'm like, the whole main concepts, a lot of things, I got to rewatch it.
Yeah,
so,
but your sleep schedule has been pretty up and down for the past week or two.
It's been all over the place, and my body's definitely feeling it a little bit, but it's like to the point where I'm like, hey, I kind of have to just work through it a little bit. I'll get my sleep time, but maybe after this week. So, but
right. You're like, I could complain about how tired I am, but it's not going to make anything better, right?
No.
You just got to push through it, right?
Yeah. There's always time for sleep, but that's what us night owls are always like. We complain about the less amount of sleep we get, but like, hey, it is what it is. Just push through it. You'll get it eventually.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to talk about before we get into SummerSlam is I did get to the movies last Thursday to see Deadpool and Wolverine, which I know I'm a little bit more into the MCU stuff than you are. But it was really cool that you and I were at the theater to see Endgame.
It was really good.
Yeah. I mean, so we can talk about at least this, that they just announced Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom.
I did see that.
Just real quick, what is your take on that?
My first reaction was like the fact that, okay, cool, he's back in like the whole universe, but it's like, how are you going to put that in the movie? Because he played Iron Man, but now he's a villain. So are they just gonna ignore the fact that he was fucking Iron Man for the last couple years, or he's just this brand new person and they're supposed to ignore that he was Tony Stark? Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencastr. Zencastr is the ultimate base podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layer backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
The whole thing that they've been doing since Endgame is building the multiverse. So you have people, like you have certain characters from Marvel showing up being played by different actors that are from a different universe. Gotcha. So if you got to see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, it really lays the groundwork for the multiverse and was supposed to lay the groundwork for what was supposed to be. I know I talked to you about Kang the Conqueror, and I went and saw Ant-Man Quantumania. Big part of why I went to see it was because they were establishing Kang to be like the new Thanos of this whole trilogy of phases.
Right.
Until Secret Wars, which is supposed to be the end game for this trilogy of phases. And then the movie, like the box office ticket sales just were not good. Like, they were so bad that and the actor that plays Kang got into some legal issues. Not going to get into all of that, but
Gotcha.
they just completely revamped their plan going forward. So I
just
feel
complete septibus.
Yeah, literally septibus right over Kang, and they were like, okay, we have to pull an audible here, and they had Doctor Doom as someone that they wanted to work into as like one of the main villains going forward, and we were all kind of like waiting to see who they were going to cast. And then at the San Diego Comic-Con a couple days ago, they unveiled Doctor Doom, and he pulled the mask off, and it's Robert Downey Jr. And it's like
everybody flipped. Yeah.
Everyone flipped, and then everyone was like, "Wait, are they really doing this?" Because he was Iron Man for like almost 12 years full.
Yeah,
and he was their flagship guy. Without RDJ as Iron Man, I don't think that the MCU franchise would have taken off as big as it did.
I can agree.
So for them to announce him as playing Doctor Doom, obviously everyone's like, oh my God, I love Robert Downey Jr. And then there's so much skepticism behind it where it's like, wait, he was just Iron Man. So I think that your hardcore Marvel fans that like knows the multiverse and knows like, hey, you've got people that play these characters that we've all known for so long in different universes, and like they'll be good with it. They'll make sense of it. I personally thought that it robbed an actor of an opportunity to fulfill that role.
Right.
Like I think he's gonna crush it as Doctor Doom. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
because
I have no doubt that he's gonna do good with it. Just my original thought, and even now what you said, the fact that it, I can agree with that a little bit too. That it probably robbed another actor that could have been an upcoming actor to, take that and make it their own. But then again, when you're talking about Robert Downey Jr., he's already established, great actor, so why not? But it's the fact that he's been playing Iron Man for now 10, 12 years. So, but then again, like you were saying, the people who are understandable about the multi-universe, they'll understand it. They'll be a little skeptical of it, but like, okay, I get it. But people like me who are not as
you're a casual fan.
Yeah, casual fan that doesn't really know a lot about that. I'll be like more like, well, how are you going to explain the fact that, okay, he was Iron Man, but now he's this other person? Is that going to kind of, connect in some way? But obviously probably not, because that would just be weird. But it just looks weird. But I'm like, I'm not mad about it, but it just like, how do you connect the fact that he was just once Iron Man and now he's playing this villain? So.
And I think that is up to the producers and the directors to say, okay, for the casual audience, because they're trying to sell tickets best they can. So they have to make it make sense for the casual fans like yourself. You ever see Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan?
Yes.
So you know that Lindsay Lohan doesn't have a twin, right?
Correct. Wait, what? Wait, what?
Wait. What?
I was today years old. Lindsay!
Oh, Lindsay!
Lindsay! Yeah.
That. So it's not the Olsen twins happening there. But I definitely think that because they are having certain characters coming in from multiple universes, like we're going to get Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man from a different multiverse coming in to face Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr., and people are going to be like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
The hardcore fans will be like, oh, good, they did that. like I'm looking forward to that. I hope they do it because it makes sense. The other thing that makes sense is Robert Downey Jr. beat out Tom Cruise for the role of Iron Man way back in the day. So I'm like, okay, give me Tom Cruise Iron Man. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So many things. My mind is racing all over it because I just went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine last Thursday.
Yeah, I will definitely eventually see that.
Yeah, it's
because I've seen Deadpool 1. I've seen a little bit of 2.
Okay.
So I am a big Deadpool fan for sure. So I'm sure that would be from. I mean, what I've heard, I haven't seen any like spoilers or anything. I mean,
good.
But from what I've heard nothing but good stuff from it.
I think the internet has gotten a lot better about not spoiling stuff because it was like the rebel thing to go out and just ruin stuff for people, right? But I think in this day and age, people know how much they're going to get shat on for doing it.
Yeah, especially because everybody's on the internet like these days.
Yeah.
So there's not like any time of day where you're going to be like, okay, stay off the internet between this time and that time. Like, no, you just have to be off the internet for at least a week if you're going to try to watch it, so you don't get any spoilers.
We talked about on here a couple years ago about when is the right time to talk about the things that happen in movies.
Yep.
And if memory serves me correctly, we said 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So,
which I still fully agree. I think that's more than enough time to, hey, if you haven't watched it in that amount of time, if you see a spoiler, that's on you.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to get to see the movie in the next couple weeks unless, hey, you almost got to see the bootleg version earlier on Twitter, right?
Yeah, but then got rickrolled. I, like probably the other 2 million people that liked it, got rickrolled as well.
I saw it. I saw that post, and me having seen the movie, I was like, okay, I don't think this is the thing because I could see the length of the video was an hour and 19 minutes. And I know the movie itself is like 2 hours and some change, like 7 or 14 minutes. It's not super long, which is good.
Yeah.
And the reason that they do that, which I actually learned earlier today, is they're trying to dial down the length of the movies best they can so that they can cram in more show times on the opening weekends.
For sure.
Because you have a 3-hour movie, it's obviously it takes longer for the movie to be a thing, to exist. So if you have a shorter movie, you can run way more show times and sell way more tickets.
And especially since I've worked in a movie theater before, it's like you have to, worry about like, okay, 3-hour movie, then you have at least like probably like an hour, almost an hour and a half to clean up from the last show, prepare for the next one, then get all those people in. So it's like, you're only probably running maybe and it depends, like, because the first week or two they're in the big theaters, and then after that you kind of just see they slowly start working them into the smaller ones. So maybe like a month later they'll get right back into the smaller theaters, but for the first week or two they're in the big theater ones. So it's to the fact that you have to think that they're probably only doing maybe 3 or 4 shows a day of those on a weekend, and maybe during the day maybe only like 2, because not many people are really going to the movies during the day or during the week.
It's your adults that work second shift on weekends. They're going to the movies to see a movie that they want, like people like me that work evenings and weekends. Like,
exactly,
I would go see a movie at noon before I went to work during the week. But and I've also talked to other comic book fans that are dance teachers that have totally gone to the theater and seen movies because they're like, it's the best. No big crowds, you get to just enjoy the movie.
Oh yeah, it's definitely great.
Yeah. I don't remember the last movie that I went and saw where it was like a really low attendance audience kind of thing.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in the theater where there's like maybe like 10 people in there.
What's the last movie that you even saw in the theaters?
I think the last movie that I saw that I remember, I'm not even sure if this is the last movie that I saw, but it was the movie Air about Michael Jordan and the Nike deal. It was with
Okay, you did see that.
I did see that in the theater, which was a great movie.
That was a couple years ago now, right?
It was 2.
That sounds right.
Roughly 2-3 years ago. 2 and a half.
I know somewhere between Ant-Man, Quantumania, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I saw both of them in the theater.
It was Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, right?
Ben Affleck.
Shout out to our boy Burt Kreischer, right?
Right.
Brent Crystals.
Crystal. Bernie Crystal, yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It has broken the record for opening weekend rated R movie of all time.
That's
money-wise, I think they've made $460 million almost in just opening weekend.
That's great.
Yeah, it's insane.
That should be more than enough reason to go see it.
Well, and for fans like you and I, where we are so much fans of comedy, Ryan Reynolds was born to be this Deadpool character.
Yeah, I can't see anybody else doing it.
Not a chance. No chance.
No chance. That's what you got. Yeah, he was born to play Deadpool.
Absolutely. And just found out this morning. Did you see any of the trailers for Deadpool?
With Wolverine?
Yeah.
I don't think front to back. I've seen like bits of them.
Okay, so this isn't a spoiler because it's part of the trailer.
Yeah.
There is a female Deadpool with like blonde hair coming out. It's Lady Deadpool. And everybody was like, that has to be Blake Lively because it's Ryan Reynolds' wife.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Not going to say if it was or it wasn't, but found out this morning that Lady Deadpool character was built in the comics based off of Blake Lively's character in Gossip Girl before she ever even met Ryan Reynolds, which is absolutely fucking mind-blowing to me. Okay. Wow. So it's pretty devastating if it's not Blake Lively, but it's really, really cool if it is Blake Lively. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. We'll leave it to
leave it right there. There's so many things there. I will say this. There were rumors leading up to the movie that I had seen that I was excited for it to be part of the movie, and then it wasn't part of the movie, and I was like a little bit let down. But there are budgets for these movies, and the more people that you bring in, the more people you have to pay to even just do cameos kind of thing.
But even the promos for the Deadpool movies are just stellar. You know, I think Ryan Reynolds goes above and beyond just to, promote the movies, and just being that it's a action comedy type of rated R movie, but the way that he promotes those movies is just awesome.
Oh, it's top shelf, bro. It's top shelf. It's so good. And just see the movie, man. And for everybody, see the movie. If you haven't seen any of the Deadpool movies, if you haven't seen really any of the Marvel movies, I will tell you, the first time I hung out with Cheyenne and we were just friends, nothing in the romantic realm at all, I showed her Deadpool, the first movie, just to gauge her sense of humor. And then the second time we hung out, I showed her the second movie just to be like, okay, you did all right with that one. Let's see how you do with the second one. So when they announced the third movie coming out, and I've been waiting for over a year for this movie just to be able to take her us see it together.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, man. It's really good. If you have a sense of humor, if you like crude, dark humor, it is absolutely for you. There is so much good action in the movie, and the way that the action sequences are choreographed fits the Deadpool character to a T. It's so good. It is just so good.
Awesome.
And with that, I will wrap up my Marvel talk for now, which I didn't even plan to dive into that deep.
Yeah, it was good, but I definitely have to try to, if not before it gets on streaming, I'll definitely check it out once it gets on streaming. Because I don't see myself getting to a theater anytime soon. But once it gets on streaming, I will definitely be the first one watching it.
I think Marvel's time frame from opening weekend to when it drops on Disney Plus is like 7 or 8 weeks.
Yeah,
so
makes sense. So
you're
maybe
looking
like the
at
fall, something like that.
You're looking at somewhere mid to end September.
Yeah,
and even though you will catch some spoilers in that meantime, it will be worth you to see the movie.
Absolutely.
That being said, let us dive into our SummerSlam predictions, yeah?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
We are looking forward to, the second most biggest event of the year outside of WrestleMania. So,
arguably. People claim it is like the second WrestleMania for summer. I will always be way more excited for the Rumble than SummerSlam just because there's so much hype going into it.
Yeah. I mean, Rumble connected to WrestleMania, the whole road to WrestleMania. We love it. We've been doing the whole segments for the last 2 years now. But, we don't do as much for SummerSlam, but we still do our predictions and, talk about a little bit of the storylines leading up to it and everything. So, we're going to go over the matches. And again, this is prior to if anything happens on SmackDown tonight. If there's any last minute matches that, come above, but I don't see anything really coming out of SmackDown. So
we are recording 12:30 a.m. Tuesday, July 30th. So, and you and I both caught just bits and pieces of Raw, and there's nothing from Raw that was added to the card. They don't generally do that anymore. They just wait until the next day and announce it on social media because of their social media marketing and engagement. Right. So if anything, we'll get something online either Tuesday or Wednesday before it's August 1st even.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the list that we have, the 7 matches that we have now, I don't see it being any more than this, unless there's one more match they just secretly put in there. But I think this is going to be the 7-match card.
Yeah, we also have the Bash at Berlin, August 31st, which I feel like on TV they're building towards that as well. Like anything that's not making the SummerSlam card, they're like, okay, we'll just throw on the Berlin card.
Yeah, save it for that. Right.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through the card. Let me just get this pulled up here. Which match do you want to start with first, Ant?
Since I'd say the CM Punk and Drew and Rollins is the most anticipated, we'll save that for the end. So let's start from 1 and we'll go down to 7, like how we said. So we'll start with Damian Priest and Gunther. So
perfect.
What's your thoughts on this to start us off?
So I will say that I don't love the feud because it was kind of just like, okay, Gunther won the King of the Ring, right?
Yeah.
So he just by default faces the champion at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So it was there were teases of Gunther with Priest and Rollins before their match at the last PLE. Which was Money in the Bank.
Yes. Yes,
yeah,
it was.
that was Drew won the briefcase and Punk screwed him out of the cash in, right?
Correct. Correct.
So Priest versus Gunther, they've between tonight and last Monday have tried to make the feud feel really important, right? And it's just not hitting for me personally.
No, it's been pretty lackluster to say the least for me.
And I feel like part of it too is because they knew Rhea was coming back and they knew she was going to be super over when she returned.
Yeah.
Now they've managed to slowly turn Priest as a face because they knew he was facing Gunther, who was the heel going into the match.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody expects Gunther to win at SummerSlam. That was my 100% if you ask me last week.
Mm-hmm.
I would still say, oh, God, yeah, Gunther is definitely winning at SummerSlam. I think Priest squeezes out of this somehow, and Gunther winds up winning the title at the Berlin pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's European. Like, why not have him win it over there where he's going to get massively cheered?
Yeah.
The only thing I would say to that is, okay, say Finn Balor inadvertently cost Damian Priest the title at SummerSlam, then you can just do the rematch in Berlin, and then you can go on with, okay, who does Gunther defend against? 100% would put money down on Gunther is getting that belt either at SummerSlam or at the Berlin pay-per-view. There's no way he's walking into September without that title. Okay, so
now I have
it's
these next 3 matches. I have some type of interference or something happening with that. I don't think we're going to get all those happening that way. Because I see potential in each of them, because you got Damian Priest and Finn Balor who are button heads right now. And with Damian Priest telling Finn and everybody, like, I can handle things by myself. I don't need you guys. And you've been seeing Finn really start, having that turn of like, okay, boss, whatever you say. So you could see Finn Balor come out there and kind of mess with the match a little bit. I don't think it's going to really say like he cost Damian the match, but there could be something that happens where he slowly pulls out of it and Priest does get the win, but he's looking at Finn like, whoa, you almost cost me the match, dude. What happened? So, and then like you said, I think we can definitely get, if Gunther doesn't win at SummerSlam, he's going to definitely get it at the rematch at the Bash in Berlin. Because I feel that'll be, an easy win if he gets the rematch there. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a clean
loses
finish.
at SummerSlam, it's going to be some screwy finish kind of thing. Either DQ. I'll tell you what, just like I would put money on Gunther absolutely walking into September with the belt one way or another. I would put the same amount of money on there's no chance of Damian Priest beats Gunther clean. It's no. So if Priest walks out of there with that belt still, there's some tomfoolery that happens there, right? So whether it's Finn gets involved, which I think everybody's kind of expecting, but it's, does Finn inadvertently cost Priest and then Gunther wins right then and there? I think that's the obvious answer, but I can also see something where, like, say Gunther's outside of the ring, Damian gets back in the ring, and somehow Gunther gets counted out. Like, that doesn't make him look weak if there's interference as to why the count out happens.
Yeah. You're not
Gunther's not tapping out because Gunther's just like Brock Lesnar. There's no he won't tap out ever. No, unless it's Lesnar, and Gunther wouldn't tap. He would just pass out and fall asleep, just like when it was Taker and Lesnar. And
Lesnar I don't think it's going to be a
clean
finish no matter what. There's going to be some type of like either DQ or something like that. I don't think it's going to be a clean win for either of them.
Yeah, or if Priest, if Finn does cost Priest the match and Gunther just wins, okay, that's kind of the obvious way out. And I think so many people are expecting Gunther to just win outright.
I have more of my money.
I'm going with Priest retaining here and Gunther winning in Berlin. That's okay. Let's go to Bayley and Nia Jax. Since I went first on the last one, you take first on this one.
So, like I said earlier, this is the second of the 3 matches that I feel that something's going to happen. I instantly have Nia Jax beating Bayley, but then I have Tiffany cashing in the Money in the Bank to take it off of Nia, or Tiffany could be by her side because she's obviously going to be by her side by that whole time. She could be looking at Nia like knocked out in the ring and kind of helping her, but then realizing, oh, I have the Money in the Bank. She's thinking about cashing it in, but then Nia stops her. Then that starts like the whole like, are you really going to try to cash in on me? I mean, I just won it, blah, blah, blah. Because I've been reading a lot of the fact that I think they're trying to make this whole thing between the two of them where Tiffany's eventually going to cash in on Nia to, become the champion. And, we were very excited about Bayley winning at WrestleMania, but to be honest, her title reign has been pretty clouded. There really hasn't been any big or big title defenses or any good memorable title defenses for her that you can say like, oh, she really deserves it. I'm just glad she had a WrestleMania moment, but I feel Sami Zayn has had a better title defense than Bayley has, so to say the least, because I mean, Sami Zayn has still had his moments, but I feel Bayley's just hasn't had any, good moments of being champion right now. She had a better reign when she was in the Thunderdome than than what she was doing like actual with in-person, people.
Yeah, I 100% agree with basically everything that you said, virtually everything that you said. I wonder if Bayley was just happy to get the win at WrestleMania against Io Sky with the whole storyline of Damage Control and her breaking out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that only because I feel like she's just kind of been there as the champion.
Yeah.
It's like, who's the SmackDown Women's Champion? Oh, it's Bayley. Okay, what has she done? She's showed up to work. And that's about it. And
pretty much, I mean, there's really not anything that, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if people forgot she was champion. And I'm pretty sure people did at this point because she's not really making herself stick out as champion.
Yeah, if it's not Tiffany Stratton, okay, so who do you have winning the match?
Nia.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't see any way of Bayley retaining this title here because
no.
I think the story with Nia getting the belt and Tiffany being there with the briefcase, I think I talked about this after Money in the Bank, where the instant cash in for the men's Money in the Bank just means Tiffany is holding onto that briefcase for a long time, like months, and like it may go past WrestleMania. I don't know.
And that's where my idea was the fact that they could, tease that she's gonna cash it in, but she pulls it back, where like she wants to make it seem like, oh, let me cash it in, like and then she changed her mind at the last minute, or she's about to, and then Nia stops her from doing it. So I can see that happening. So then you have the long build with her still having the Money in the Bank, but still being by Nia's side. So you could play at that instead of just doing the full cash in and she gets it right then and there.
I literally just thought of this right now. I can see Tiffany teasing the cash in on Raw and SmackDown and NXT. I think she's going to do a substantial stint in NXT because the NXT women's roster is saturated to an extent. So they might do with her what they did with Becky, where they brought Becky down to try to elevate the women's division down there. And I mean, I think it worked in the favor of Tiffany Stratton for sure, because Becky Lynch beat Tiffany, held the NXT women's belt for a few weeks, and then Tiffany wound up beating her. I think, almost positive. Don't pay attention to NXT that much, but
yeah, I'm good. I'm back.
We're good. I'll just note 50. I definitely can see Tiffany having a stint in NXT with the briefcase where she's taunting the cash in, or somehow. Yeah, see, I'm trying to think of ways creatively to make Tiffany holding the briefcase as the most memorable women's Money in the Bank briefcase holder, because it's usually the women have the briefcase for like a little bit and then cash in.
Yeah.
I think that they will do with Tiffany Stratton with the women's briefcase what they did with Seth Rollins when he had the briefcase. They're going to make it interesting and long. So the whole thing with Nia, I think they're going to stay like in cahoots with each other, like friends, like acquaintances, allies, whatever you want to say of it. But I think you're going to get Tiffany in NXT, maybe flirting with the idea of cashing in on the Raw champion, the Raw Women's champion, whoever it is, in a few months. And I think they're just going to have her pulled away from Nia for a bit, or maybe she'll show up on SmackDown and just be there for Nia and whatever Nia's agenda is, as long as she's the champion. Right. But then we won't see Tiffany cashing in on Nia until I would not put money on this, but I would say after WrestleMania 41, I still think Tiffany Stratton has the briefcase. I feel pretty confident about that, but I 100% have Nia Jax winning this match. And I think it's more so the question of, what do you do with Bayley next? Are you just going to give her time off until you figure out what you're going to do with her next?
Right.
Or maybe Triple H has a plan for her. Maybe someone else interferes in the match that nobody saw coming. And then we get a program with Bayley and said whoever. And then that is like a feud that doesn't need the title even involved, and Bayley just goes straight to that feud. Yeah. That's the only way to really save Bayley from me at this point is, okay, get the belt off of her, but put her in a feud where she can just deliver on the mic like she did during the Thunderdome era, right?
Right.
Okay, so you and I both have Nia, and we both have Damian?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go on to Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley.
Sure. Yeah. This is pretty easy for me too. I feel Liv Morgan is going to retain because of Dirty Dom. I think Dirty Dom is going to cost Rhea the belt, and Liv and Dom are going to be a thing, and he's going to turn on Rhea. And that's going to make Rhea chase Liv all the way up until next year.
So happy to hear you say that, because that is, I feel like
That's what I want. That's what I give me what I want.
Give me what I want.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone thinks it's obvious. Okay, Rhea's coming back and she's just gonna take it away from Liv.
Yeah. No. Once they were playing the whole nope. Yeah. Once I saw the whole thing going into Liv and Dom, I'm like, yeah, this stuff isn't over. Dom's just playing the whole, card of, okay, I'm going to go back to Rhea, but until that match happens, pulling the card, and he's going to cost Rhea the match. He's going to, and then they're going to make, and then Liv and Dom are going to make out at the end of that night. So.
I don't know about making out.
Oh, it's happening.
Okay.
I bet you $5 that happens.
Okay. I will bet $5 it doesn't. It's fine. And I will lose and be okay with it, because if they actually make out, I'll be like, whoa, Dom's newly wedded wife is a champion for and yeah, it's acting. But Dirty Dom is the biggest heel in the wrestling industry.
Was just about to say this. Keep going.
In the past, I don't even remember. I mean, the last time that I heard boos so loud from the crowd was when Roman Reigns defeated The Undertaker 7 years ago at WrestleMania. Okay, so I feel like Triple H is like, dude, you're the biggest heel. We got to make this work. And that's why when he broke Liv's heart on Raw, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a total setup. This is a total setup for him to legitimately claim the title of Dirty Dom, lie, cheat, and steal.
Yep.
So that's why I definitely have Liv Morgan retaining, just like you do. Rhea Ripley is going to be heartbroken and distraught and not know even how to navigate the Judgment Day.
And that's the thing too. I think, that just pulls Dom out of the Judgment Day, because they're definitely not going to allow him in after that. So he's definitely going to be out of the Judgment Day for the time being. So, and it's going to make Rhea and the whole Judgment Day really, jump up. So a lot of that's going to really flourish with the Judgment Day after that too.
Yeah, Rhea's going to be a wreck. Damian Priest is going to be just barely holding on to the title still, based on our prediction that he's retaining against Gunther at SummerSlam until Berlin. Damian loses at SummerSlam, and then he's out of the belt. Rhea doesn't know what to do. Dom is off and off. And then maybe because Dom is gone, Damian and Rhea are so down in the dumps, that's when Finn Balor steps up as the leader. So
that's his way in as a sneaky type of thing, like, hey, here's my chance.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I think
I like it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
I think you need to keep JD under Balor's wing. Like, because what else do you do with JD McDonough? Like, he should stay with Finn Balor.
Nothing.
Go back to NXT.
Right.
Right. Let's move on to the next one.
Keep it rolling. I know we're going through it pretty quick, but there's, like I said, we'll go through each of the match in detail in our post reaction for everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Cody Rhodes and Taz Point 2.0, aka Solo. This has a lot going into it too, because everybody's screaming Roman's coming back. I don't think you need Roman yet. I mean, it would be nice, but I don't.
Here, I'll say this: if Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa main event SummerSlam, and you don't have Roman Reigns return,
yeah,
Vince is back.
Yeah, Paul's fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I can definitely secure that Roman is coming back is if that match headlines
Yeah.
SummerSlam. Then Roman's definitely. I mean, you don't necessarily need to have a headline because Roman's gonna take the spotlight in that match if he does come back, no matter what. But if they're headlining, he's definitely 100%, 1,000%, 2,000,000% coming back. But you know, I think you'll have somewhat of the same tactics. Like you're gonna have Solo and a lot of his family trying to help, like take down Cody. You're gonna get Kevin and Randy probably helping a little bit, but Cody's not gonna lose. So I mean, to say the least, Cody's gonna retain this title, whether it be a clean finish or some type of side interference type of thing, and he gets the win. But yeah, it's definitely going to be Cody coming out of this as champion still.
What was our $5 bet?
Our $5 bet was that Liv Morgan and Dom were going to make out at the end of the night.
Okay.
Or
okay.
after
Fine.
the match.
Okay. Fine. Let's
double down.
Let's double down. We got to figure this out. And we'll post it. We'll post it to our Facebook page about our wager situation. Just to hold ourselves accountable to the bet, because I like it. I like where this is going. Okay. You don't think Roman's returning yet?
Something tells me he's not.
And I like it because it's the assumption that he's coming and everyone's
because everybody's just assuming it. Nothing has really made it seem. Only a couple times that Solo said like, hey, if Roman wants to get the title back, he has to earn it. He's talked about Roman, but there hasn't been a lot of like little niches of like, oh, he's coming back. But then again, you don't have to, because it's like the old times. Make it a surprise instead of giving us little hints that it's going to happen. Let us be surprised when it happens. Okay. I'm okay with that. But to me, I think it still might be too soon. I'd rather it see in the fall when they need some type of rating when they're going against the football season. Because obviously that when we always talk about that the whole time, that football seasons where they kind of slump a little bit. So I feel if you had Roman come back like prior to a War Games Survivor Series thing, closer to that.
Bad Blood in October.
That's where you can Bad Blood in October. Yeah. That's where you can stick him in.
Bad Blood in October.
Because that leads into the Survivor Series War Games after, right? I think so.
Okay. I am really, really confident that Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio are not going to make out. Okay. So while I agree with you that I can see them holding off Roman until the fall to get viewers on them in the fall, because Roman will come back. If Roman were to come back not at SummerSlam at some point in the fall, then it would have to turn the viewers to WWE.
Yeah.
Right. And the best thing about that is Roman will be on Fridays. There's no NFL on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of preseason, which, by the way, go Birds next Friday.
Yes.
Against the Ravens. Pretty stoked. Football's back, man.
It's back.
It's pretty cool.
We got to get some fantasy stuff going too.
Oh, absolutely.
We should talk about that soon too.
Before the regular season starts, 100%.
Yeah.
I will say this. You don't think Roman's coming back at SummerSlam, and I agree. I will bet no Dominic and Liv Morgan make out, which includes tongue. by the way, because the little mouth pecky peck thing.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a peck. It's gonna. To me, I feel it's gonna be the moment that they've been getting interrupted on. It's gonna happen.
So you think it's gonna be a soft, not even like super aggressive? It could be aggressive, but
it's gonna be the first kiss. Come on now, it's gonna be the moneymaker.
They'll be at the top of the ramp. Rhea's gonna have to look up and see them just going hard, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say I'm gonna hate it when it happens, but I will bet against it. Okay. And I will also just say I'll bet on Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam. Just for the sake of keeping it interesting.
Even then. So that okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then if I win against the Liv Morgan and I lose against Roman, we break even. So
break even. That's what I'm going for here. I don't want to lose any money here.
So if anything, we break even. So it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. But
so
if
end
they
all be end all.
if they make out and there's no Roman, I owe you $10. Okay.
But end all be end all, or whatever you want to say, Cody's retaining no matter what.
Oh, yeah. That guy's not losing that belt for a long time. There's no way that they built him up to lose the Roman Reigns at 39 and win at 40 for him to have a short title run. Yeah. That's not happening. If they want one of the main titles to change a little bit more frequently, it's going to be the Raw title that Gunther's about to take, right?
Right.
Either at SummerSlam or at Berlin, one or the other, right?
Right.
And I will say, which I was like trying to get to, but I was so trying to figure out how to make this bet make sense.
That's good though.
If there's no Roman Reigns, I think Randy Orton helps get rid of the bloodline outside of the ring so that Cody retains, and then Randy Orton RKO's Cody Rhodes, and then it sets up that feud going into the fall.
There you go. Yep.
That's
that would take a good place of not having Roman there, because everybody's been saying there's going to be a Randy versus Cody moment where they're going to eventually start a feud. That's where you can put it. So everybody's going to think Roman, but it's actually Randy that takes that spot.
And Randy, and then you get the Randy turn on Cody, and then it sets up that feud going into the fall. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Now this next match here, Logan Paul, LA Knight.
I think it's a shoe-in that LA Knight is winning that belt, man.
LA needs to win it. If LA Knight doesn't win, I'm done with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And Logan Paul's had two title defenses since he won the belt off of Rey Mysterio in November. So I'm over it. Like, I understand Logan Paul's got the social media.
Yeah, and we are big
clout.
Logan Paul people. We've said a lot about him. We're big Logan Paul fans. But LA Knight has to win this. He's been cooking for the last 2 years. He needs to get a belt at this point. If he does not win this, get him off my TV at this point. Go to NXT. Because I've been invested in LA Knight ever since he's made it to the main roster. Love the mic work. You know, he's not the greatest wrestler, but mic skills and everything. You know, he's you can say the whole he's a kick off the Stone Cold and the Rock shit. I don't care. It's great. You know, you're gonna get influences from the greats anyway.
And I think it's do or die time for LA Knight, where it
really is.
Put the U.S. title on him and see how well he runs with it, and if he flops like Bailey's current title run does,
Bailey, then yeah, just let it go.
Then yeah, LA Knight is all elite at that point, right?
This can ultimately see okay, if he holds the U.S. belt to a certain extent and does well, he's going to be pushed up to eventually getting, into the title picture.
At least the Intercontinental title picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, do or die for LA Knight. He's got to win. So
I agree.
That's my prediction. LA Knight's got to win.
Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has to win this match, man.
I had Braun Breaker winning. I don't see him losing twice.
No, and I was a little surprised that Braun Breaker didn't win at Money in the Bank, but the fact that they had him lose at Money in the Bank and then they're doing the match again just tells me Braun Breaker is 100% winning this match.
Yeah, I don't see anything else happening other than him just. The last match was really good. I did like it, but I think this is gonna be Braun's time to be like, hey, yeah, he didn't seem as aggressive as what we're known to see him like. So I think he's gonna come out swinging on this one. I think he definitely pulls this off and gets the belt.
Like I said, Braun did not hit one spear on Sammy at Money in the Bank, so I'm like, they saved that for SummerSlam, where I could see him spearing Sammy 2 or 3 times, and just putting Sammy out, let Sammy take a break. What you do with Sammy next, I have no idea, because I have not loved his IC title run. If you had Sammy taking the belt off of Gunther at WrestleMania, to me, it killed 2 birds with 1 stone, because he needed to get the belt off of Gunther so he could go to the main title picture, and he needed to give Sammy an opportunity. And it was do or die time for Sammy to make the IC title feel relevant. And to me, I wouldn't say it was a total flop, but it wasn't anywhere near as successful, my opinion.
No.
So putting it on Braun Breaker, I think is the move, and let him hold it for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Let him be dominant, and then the person to beat Braun Breaker should be a super over babyface, and I have a really good idea on who that should be, and his name is LA Knight, but he has to be able to hold his own with the United States title first, and then let LA Knight beat Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, something like that,
right?
Something like that.
And you were talking about what they do with Sammy next, like either give him a little bit of time off. They could give him a little bit of time off, and then the thing that I was thinking is they hook him up with Jey Uso and the War Games thing with the OG bloodline and the new bloodline. They eventually just try to be like, okay, we need that extra person, because eventually Jay and Jimmy get back together. At that point, hopefully Roman's back. Then they think, okay, we need that 4th person. In comes in Sami Zayn.
Yeah, so if you have Braun Breaker just absolutely destroy Sami Zayn at SummerSlam, and then just write Sammy off TV for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Roman returns. Roman, Jimmy, and Jay against Solo, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. So they're outnumbered 4-3.
Yeah,
and then
and we wouldn't even know it until like the night of that. Like I think they did that with Randy that like last year, right?
Yeah.
So they could pull that with Sammy. Like they don't have the 4th person, but they have it, but they don't reveal it until, and obviously it just becomes Sammy.
Yeah, I think they announced Orton like the week of on TV.
Yeah, but he didn't actually get on TV. I think they were saying that it was going to be Randy. They announced that we picked Randy.
Yeah.
Randy.
Randy.
So yeah,
nerd. Yeah.
I think that could be your special pop for that match where we get a returning Sami Zayn, the honorary Oos of the team. So
yeah, I'm more than good with it. I am more than good with it. That would make Sammy relevant again, because they know that he was the most over when he was part of the bloodline. That's exciting if they go that route,
because they've been doing a lot of Jimmy Uso and Sammy stuff. So I'm hoping that's just like a little taste of something to be like, hey, we're gonna get them back together eventually down the line. We just wanted to give like a tag team, or like, hey, like just how tonight Jey Uso helped out Sammy when he was being attacked by Who is he fighting tonight?
Sammy?
Sammy was fighting somebody tonight. I forget who it was. Oh, Dirty Dom.
That's what it was. Yeah. Again,
So, yeah.
I was mildly paying attention tonight.
Right.
To Raw.
So, and then Jay came out and helped him. They did their moment. So they've been giving us snippets of Jay and Sammy back together.
I think the biggest mystery to me is how they get Jimmy Uso back in the picture.
I've been wondering how they do that too. I was thinking about that earlier tonight. Like, how do they bring him back in? And I mean, obviously, it's not going to come in SummerSlam because Jay's not even on the card. So it's going to have to come.
It's going to have to be at a PLE, because
it's going to have to revolve around Roman coming back, and then you get Jay and Roman coming together, and then Jimmy comes in, and then Sammy. I think you get Jay going back to Roman, then you get Jimmy coming back, then Sammy for the ultimate pop of that.
Yeah, unless they really want to build towards the inevitable return of Roman, which is you have Roman come back last.
Yeah, that could be the one too. Like, Jimmy and Jay reunite, they're back together. Sammy kind of, is talking with them a little bit, but then obviously your last one is Roman. Then they all kind of, reunite that way too. So it can go both ways.
Yeah. And that's all obviously way after SummerSlam. So let's get back to our final match, which is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee.
Right.
Wow.
This one I'm still 50-50 on.
I think CM Punk has not had a win since coming back to WWE,
nor like a legit match other than the Rumble.
The Rumble.
He hasn't really had like a match.
So I feel like somehow CM Punk gets a win, but it's going to get really convoluted, and especially with Seth as the referee. And again, nobody's beating anybody clean. Seth being involved, obviously, is going to make it super fun.
Yeah.
I'm curious how this is not a triple threat match at Mania. Like, if they want just CM Punk versus Seth Rollins one-on-one, what do you do with Drew out of the picture, because he's been so involved in this for as long as he has? I really don't know. I'm going with CM Punk getting the win based off just what I said. It's his first singles match.
Yeah.
On a PLE.
Because I feel people are going to be wanting Drew to win this just after everything that Punk has been putting him through. But I can feel CM Punk winning off of a technicality and then just, screwing Drew over again, just like he has been, and just continuing the feud.
I think CM Punk is going to find a way to outsmart Drew McIntyre to get the win. Because that's the story here, right? Is CM Punk is smarter than Drew. I do feel like at some point down the line, Drew is going to get like a big win against him in a way that will probably put CM Punk out for a couple of months, so he doesn't have to actually wrestle, because that's the whole thing, is CM Punk is going to wrestle minimally. You're not going to get CM Punk wrestling on Raw, okay?
No.
He is an attraction for the PLEs. To see CM Punk wrestle in this day and age totally makes sense.
Absolutely.
I think CM Punk finds a way to outsmart and get the win. And it might be some super strange roll-up kind of thing. Maybe like Drew goes to Claymore Seth, and Seth is like, dude, you've been wrestling for 15-20 minutes and I'm fresh.
Yeah.
Avoids the Claymore, hits the stomp, and then goes to pin Drew, CM Punk goes to pin Drew, and then Seth gives him a fake 3 count where he counts 1, 2, and then just doesn't drop the 3. And then somehow after that, we get CM Punk just rolling up Drew or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
like I said,
or Drew goes to roll up CM Punk and Seth does the same thing and does 1, 2, and just I think he's going to cheat.
It doesn't matter if The Rock counts a 3.
Literally, I think Seth is going to cheat the both of them out of the 3 count, and then Seth is going to be laying there taken out by a Claymore, a GTS, or something, and he just happens to roll over after one of them hits the other with the thing, and he just slaps 1, 2, 3, and I think that's going to be the end of the match.
Yeah, it's going to be some type of weird, crazy win, but I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna say CM Punk pulls it through.
Cool.
I think we were both like pretty much straight down the line. I don't think we were. Other than the makeout session,
the stakes.
Other than the makeout session, I think we were pretty much down the line.
We
together.
have fun stakes, man. Fun stakes. I'm stoked. With that, let's wrap this one up. Just because we will talk at length about this in the reaction next week.
Yeah, I'm stoked for SummerSlam. I'm stoked for the end of House of the Dragon. Guys, be prepared for a lot of content coming in the next week because I think we are bound to do our first possible 2-episode upload in a week. So we might be doing 2 episodes in 1 week because we don't want to. We know both of those things are very important to us, and we don't want to
shortchange one or the other. Yeah,
that, and we don't want to upload them too late because we want to give each of them their own amount of time out in the world. So we might be uploading them at the same time. So if we do, be prepared for a lot of content coming to you guys.
Absolutely. Anth, thank you so much. I know it's late and I know you got a lot going on this week. Once again, happy birthday, Anthony Frank Lil Tone.
Yes, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy 4th. Anth, anything else you want to say before we sign off out of here?
Just like anything, love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. You know where to find us. One Set Pod everywhere on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Hit us up on the Gmail. Pick up some merch. Everything's in our descriptions. And again, thank you to my brother and best friend, Jim, for doing this with me. And always having a good time together. So, and if anybody's watching SummerSlam this weekend, enjoy it. And be prepared for a post-show reaction. If you have not done so yet, subscribe to get notifications when those videos come up. So thank you guys. This has been One Set.
All the love. Thank you.